Hey guys, here at OS and VTXreviews.com. You're watching our retro review part 1, which we just look at the hardware of the original iBook G4 by Apple. And this was a laptop PC that came out in October of 2003, which is around the decade now. So it's been out for 10 years, and now we're just taking a look back at one of the more revolutionary products for Apple that really changed and ushered in their line of newer designs and kind of moving away from a more toy-like approach to something that's more more classical with their colors and themes and material choices. This is an original 12-inch model which ran with a 600 megahertz processor, and it came with 30 gigs of hard drive. It also featured a combo drive which had the ability to read and read only, and you could also write CDs as well as read back DVDs and movies. It was a optical drive that allowed you to put in a disc and then press a button on the keyboard in order to eject the CD or the DVD again, which is pretty interesting. Again, the keyboard is semi-transparent in color, and behind it you can also find the Airport Express Wi-Fi card, which means you can remove it in order to customize it with more options. More interesting exterior features include the fact that it has a 256 megabytes of RAM, and that's pretty much everything that comes in the standard 800 megahertz version. You can of course get it in slower versions of 600 megahertz and faster versions. You could really customize it, and it had USB 2.0 ports, and you could upgrade it with Bluetooth 1.1, but again, it's not installed directly. And the version that I have here, again, is just basically the version that was most popular in 800 megahertz models. It's just the standard version for most things. Again, you have an Ethernet port as well, and it was preloaded with macOS 10.3 originally, and it retailed for a price tag of $1,099 when this model first came out, which today you can probably pick one up for $30. So again, the price tag has significantly dropped. Again, because this is only 12.1 inches in terms of LCD size, it's still categorized, in my opinion, as more of an ultra-portable than really a full-blown laptop. And we'll see that as we go along the product. The top has an Apple logo, which is actually backlit when the product is turned on, as are most Apple products with an Apple logo. The back, you can just see the hinge, which has a unique design to it, and a ventilation system. On the right-hand side, we have access to the AC adapter for charging the product. We also have, again, the side-loading DVD/CD drive, which you can only open with a keyboard. There isn't a button on it for you to open it directly. On the very sides of the device, you have access to the hinge button, which allows you to actually open the lid of the laptop and close it again. On the left-hand side of the product, we have access to a ventilation hole. We also have a headphone jack, a 3.5 headphone jack, a monitor port, Ethernet, phone cables, a Kingston lock, as well as a FireWire port, as well as standard USB 2.0 ports. So opening the device up, you'll see again that keyboard I was talking about. We did have stereo speakers on this device, and again that LCD screen that was, for the time, pretty impressive. No webcam, of course, but it did have a built-in microphone. And of course the touchpad was also quite large for its size, and you had a single mouse pad instead of two buttons, of course. And again, to remove this, if I can do it successfully, you had to kind of open up the keyboard like this by pulling it up. And I can't really find the hinges or the edges for me to pull this up. I do believe it just lifts up like so. There we go. And then you can remove the keyboard and find underneath the ribbon cable, as well as, again, the Airport Express, which is the Wi-Fi card, which was an add-on accessory, which is kind of not that cool, but still, you had that option for you. And the screen was able to kind of lay back at a nice angle, so you could really adjust that to your comfort level. And again, we can see that the eject for the DVD/CD-ROM is on the side here as a separate button. So again, just a very interesting look back at the hardware of the iBook G4. This is the 800 megahertz version. In part 2 of this retro review, we'll go over, again, the original software that was loaded on this thing, which will be pretty interesting to take a look back in time and see that. Thanks for watching this retro review, part 1, here at OS and VTXreviews.com.